We want to do Know Your Customer KYC checks. Our data lies in OneDrive, but we could also have them in SharePoint, Dropbox, or another cloud drive. It's a process that's often used in finance, that is, insurance, banking, and accounting. We want to validate our customer's ID to some sort of a data. Here we have the ID, as you can see, the passport and a driver's license, and we want to map them through an Excel sheet. You can see first name, last name, and date of birth. So we have them in Excel, and that is not really compliant to store personal information there. But for simplicity, for the example, we use Excel because we all have access to that. My name is Jensen. Let's learn some Microsoft Power Automate and AI Builder. So let me close this so we can start all over. First, we go to the course page, which I have prepared here. There's a link to that in the description below. We download the course files by clicking the link here. We click the three dots here and click download. That will download the course data as a zip file. Now let's go move it to the desktop so we can work with it. I just right click and extract them here, but you can place them wherever you want. It's just to have easy access to the data. Let me open it. So in here, there's a folder. We have IDs to send and KYC Demo. The IDs to send is our driver license samples and passport sample. It looks like this, for example, Estonian password, a John Doe password, and you can see each of them are samples. These are quite nicely scanned. You can see they're quite pretty. They are in high resolution. If we had customers that have lower resolution scans, for example, a bad mobile phone camera, then they will look worse, and we could do some sort of a human in the loop check that validated whether or not this was a proper scan. But for now, it's perfectly okay. The other folder is the KYC Demo. It consists of 3 folders: IDs to check. That one we will put out our IDs to, and when IDs are pushed to this folder, we want our flow to run. Then we have invalid IDs and processed IDs. So after we process them, we want to move them accordingly, so either in invalid or processed. Finally, we have an Excel sheet with our customer data. And again, we don't want to have customer data really in an Excel sheet, but for this simple example, it's perfect because we all have access to Excel. Let me close it again. The first thing I want to do is to place the KYC demo, that is with the 3 empty folders and the Excel sheet, in the root of my OneDrive. We want that because for our flow to run, the file needs to be in some sort of a cloud space, that is SharePoint, Dropbox, or in our instance, OneDrive. So I take this KYC demo, then I go to my OneDrive. I'll just place it in the root. You can place it in every subfolder you want. I'll have it here. You can see it here. Then we also need, let me go back, we also need the IDs to send. Those ones cannot be in the same OneDrive. Why is that? That is because if we place our IDs from another OneDrive space to the similar OneDrive folder, then the Power Automate flow will not treat them as new files. So what I will do here is that I'll go to this PC, C drive, and then I'll just paste them in here. So now I have my passport. Let me just open one more instance. So I have my IDs to send here on the C drive. Then I open another instance and I go to my KYC demo folder. So now I have these 2 folders open. And what I want to do when the flow runs, I want to be able to take IDs. Those ones could be here, but they can also come in from emails from customers. And then I want to move them to IDs to check, and my flow should automatically run. Let's go create that in Power Automate. So moving to Power Automate, and let me just close this and maximize it. Let me first show you the cool thing that we'll be using here in this project, that is the AI Builder. You can find it over here in the menu and click AI Builder, Explore. If your trial and your credits is expired, then you can just click renew and get 33 days more. That is a nice feature from Microsoft, so thank you. Click the extract information from identity documents, and here on upload new, click that one. We will just try with a few ones of our IDs to see it work. So here I have a passport. Let's try that. I click open. It's analyzing. You can see the passport here. So nothing is happening. We are not creating the flow. We will just see how easy it is. Here you can see this guy is named Jack Christian and the last name York. And the date of birth is here. We have the identity document number and a lot of other information. We also have some confidence score when we get back to using it on our flow. Let me try one more. Let us try a driver license here. And you can see this is also a sample document. Here his name is John A. Sample. You can see the first name, last name out here, and the date of birth. So let's go use this AI builder in a flow. I'll close this. To create a flow, we just go to create. Since we want our flow to run whenever a new file is getting moved to this KYC Demo folder, IDs to check, then we choose an automated cloud flow. Go click that. Let's give our flow a name. I will call mine KYC Demo. And then we will need a trigger. Mine will be when a file is created, and then I will choose the OneDrive for business. If you don't have a business account, if you have a normal, I'll say a regular private OneDrive account, you should choose this one here. But since mine is OneDrive for business, I'll move a little bit down. It's important here that you take the when a file is created and not this properties only that you can see up here. So you need to scroll a little bit down and pick this one, and then click create. So each time a file is getting created in our folder that we'll specify here, then we want our flow to run. The first thing we'll need to tell Power Automate is what folder do we need to look in. So click this folder here, then go to your OneDrive. We have this KYC Demo, move one below, and then pick the IDs to check. That was our trigger. We need an action. So click new step here. And what do we want to use? We want to extract information from identity documents. You'll see it here. You can also find it by moving into the AI builder, but I'll just pick it here. So we need an identity document file, and we get that. That is the output from up here. So I'll click in here, and then I'll choose file content. Now we can actually run our flow. So if I click save here, then I'll click test. I'll choose manually, and then I'll click test. Now I just need to activate the trigger. That is, I need to create a file in this folder here. I have my two folders. I really hope you did the same. So we have the IDs in one of them, and we have the IDs to check folder. That is the one we are listening to. So pick one of them. Let me pick this. For now, I will just copy it over. I'll copy it over here, and then I'll wait. I'll say like 30 seconds, and then our flow will run. So it takes a little bit of time. You can see our flow is running right now. That's it. Now we need a little bit of information about the file name. So whenever this flow runs, we will have here we will have this file name, and this one is actually a customer ID. So we need to extract this from this, and you cannot use the file name from the output up here because, let me show you, if I click the trigger now, go to show raw outputs. This is what comes out of it. And the file name that we'll get if we're using the dynamic output will be this weird thing here. We need this. And we will take advantage of that. Because what we will do is that we will create an expression. And this is a very advanced part of Power Automate, but it's very straightforward when you get used to it. So just do it with me. So we want to say, I want to move into headers. Then I want to find the key called XMS file name. And I want to extract the value of this here. So let's go copy this key here. That is just the XMS file name, and let me close this one here. Now click edit. So let me just show you how we can grab the file name very easily. So I'll click new step here. I'll click compose. This is just to show you how you can manipulate data. I really want you to do this as well because you'll learn a lot. Here I'll click in inputs, and for the first we will just scroll all the way down here. Under when a file is created, choose the headers. We are not going to use this dynamic output as we cannot use it, but what we can do is click the 3 dots here and then click peek code. Just want this code so I can use it in an expression. I could of course also write it, but I'm lazy. I want to automate things. So let's just copy this expression from here. Now I will delete it. I'll go over to expression over here, and now I can write my expression because I want this trigger outputs like this, and then I want to go into the MS file name. And what I need to do here now, my clipboard got a little bit weird, but it's luckily I can remember the name. So I want to have a question mark, then hard brackets, 2 single quotation marks, and here I can say XMS file name like this, and I'll just click OK. Let us try once more. So I click save here, then let me test it. It's just to see that we can actually grab the file name. Again, we're going to use it and we cannot get it in any other way. So I'll just take a new ID. Let me take this one here and paste it over here. So these ones are just for the development phase. We'll just activate the trigger a couple of times and then we can see our flow runs. If you like this sort of content, please give this video a thumbs up and or a comment. That will help me a lot. Now we are extracting. Very soon we are done, and then we can get out the file name. So now our flow ran successfully. If I click this compose, this shows the output of this compose. There you go. We now have the file name. So the next thing I want to do, that is I want to separate it because I'm not going to use the .jpeg. I want this file name because this is equal to the customer ID in the Excel sheet. And by the way, let me just show you. So if I go inside the KYC Demo folder here, let me open up the Excel sheet. You can see here we have the customer ID. This customer ID that was something with 8116. Let us try to find it over here. That is this one here, 8116, and then it's 517. You can see it here. So this one matches that. So let us try to get rid of the .jpeg. What I want to do here is to split it, and I want to split it by the dot, and that one will give us an array of this number and this JPEG, and then I'll just take the first element. That will be this number. So let me click edit again and let me go to the expression because here I have it. What I want to do is first I need to split this. So I'll say split, then I'll say a parentheses start, and the text I want to split, well, that was this one here. Then I will have a comma. Now I need to tell Power Automate by which delimiter do I want to split, and that was exactly the dot. So I'll just do this. Then I need a parentheses end. We also want, so now we have split it. This will give us an array. We also want to take the first element. So in the start, I'll say first, then a parentheses start, and then I'll move all the way to the end, parentheses end. That's it. And a nice little trick for me to you, that is sometimes Power Automate doesn't update our expression. So just copy all this, mark it, then when you click update, and now you can see it did. But if it doesn't, you can easily just delete this and then go to expression and paste it in instead of rewriting it. But now it will work. Let me just try to save and test and manually test it. Let's move another ID over here in the IDs to check. So what we'll do here, I'm not really sure, we didn't have this one here. So I'll just move it over here. So now we should be able to have this file name without the extension, that is 916.6285. So it's really nice to be able to customize our expression so we can get the data out we want. That is a very valuable skill here in Power Automate Cloud. So now we are running. Our flow ran successfully. Let us go into the compose. There you go. We now have the information that we want. Now we want to use this expression to get a row in the Excel sheet. And what we want to do is that we want to look up this number here in the Excel sheet. And now we know this is the row that we need to work with. Well, this was actually 906. So that was this one here. And we want to do a lookup here. So if this customer ID matches with the file name, we know we are in the right place. Then we want to check for the first name, the last name, and then the date of birth if they match. And I've built in a couple of errors. So let's see if our flow catches that. So let's edit the flow. First, I'll need to get a row. So I'll click new step here, get a row like this. And I have Excel Online for Business, so I'll choose that one. You can choose the regular Excel if you have that one. So for now, it's okay. The location, well, that one, I have my Excel sheet in OneDrive, so it will be OneDrive for Business. Document library, that will be the OneDrive. The file, well, I will go a little bit up. That is the KYC Demo. And here I have the customers like this. The table, and it's very important that our data is formatted as a table. We have a table here and it's called customers. That was the one I found here. The key column, well, that is a column where we have unique IDs so we can do a lookup. That is exactly the customer ID. So what I will pick here, that I'll say customer ID, and then the key value. That will be this expression that we got up here. So let's just go in here, mark it, copy it, and use it down here. So I'll go to expression here, paste it in, and click OK. So now we have it in here. We can get this row up here. Let's see if that works. So I'll just save, and we'll test it again like this. Let me find an ID that we didn't use. Didn't use this one here. So I'll just copy it over here. So we are building this flow step by step. It's very straightforward. You can do it. It's actually so easy, and you'll learn a lot. Just by making these expressions with me, you'll be able to do it, maybe not today, but if you practice 1 or 2 times, you will have it. Power Automate is very straightforward. So now our flow ran. Let us see if we were able to do a lookup on this input. So this one was 297, and let us just see here. 297, that should be Jane Sample from 1978. If we go in here, you can see that we have this Jane Sample, a date of birth. Well, this is a 5-digit number, and it looks weird. It looks like we have an error because if we go here, we can see that we actually have a birthday of 1978, January the 6th. That is the date format. We have it in here. But for some weird reason, we have it otherwise here. So let's go fix that. And what this is actually days after the 30th of December, 1899. I'm not kidding you. This is a format Excel Online is using. So let's again do a compose and see that we can actually convert this to a date of birth. Because when we have done that, we can easily compare what we get out of this extract information from identity documents. I'll show you that because this one also generated an output. You can see it here. We have the date of birth, and we also have a name. Where was the Jane? Up here, Jane Sample. So we need to compare those two. So this one is straightforward. This was out of the box from the AI builder. We need to do a little customization of the date here in Excel. What I'll do here is that I'll click edit. Now we got the row. We just need to convert the date. Let's see how that is done. So I will take a new step, and then I will have a compose like this. like this. So what do I want? And again, these two composers, they are just to create the expressions. We will delete them in the automation whenever we're done. So we need to have the output from this get a row. So if I click in here, then I'll have the get a row and pick the date of birth, because that is the number that we want to work with. That is the 5-digit number. When I hover the mouse over, you can see the outputs, get a row, body, date of birth. And again, we can cheat, or it's not cheating, it's just cleverness. So I click these 3 dots and click peek code, because I want this expression here. So copy everything after the at down to the last expression. The quotation marks. That was a little weird. So here I just delete it, because now I'm going to write my expression. So what do I want to do? Well, I know that my baseline was 1899, December the 13th, and I'm not kidding you. Then I just need to add this 5-digit number to that. I will convert it into an integer, and we will have the correct result. So what I will say here is that I will say add days, then I will have a parentheses, single quotation marks like this. Then I will write 1899. And this is, you will never guess this if you're just a new user to this, but this will come very easy to you whenever you have completed this. Now you know that if you see a 5-digit date time format number, then it's just the Excel online date format. Anyway, we now have, so what do we want to do? We want to add these 5-digit number, because that is days, to this, and then we will have the correct day. So I will just paste in this expression. We just need to convert it to an integer. So what I will do here is that before the output, I will say int, then the parentheses start, go to the end, like here, and have the parentheses end. Again, sometimes Power Automate doesn't update these, so I always just Control A, Control C, and now you'll see here that we actually got it updated. So this should be our expression. Let me just delete all our test ideas, because then I don't need to keep track of which one I haven't used. Then I'll save it and we will test it again. So now what we want to do is to see that we can actually get the correct date. If I test it here, like this, I will go to the 2 folders here and then pick an idea. And again, let us just take this Jane sample, so to see if we can get the correct date out. That is this one here. So I will just copy it over here. That will trigger the flow. It will run, and hopefully we will have the date printed out. One thing that we will then need to do is to format the date so it matches the date here in the Excel sheet. But one step at a time, that's how we develop here in Power Automate. Let us see what will happen whenever this flow is done. If you want to solve problems with 3,800 developers, you can join my Discord. We are there to help each other. It's free, and we'll talk real time about these solutions and our careers. The link is also in the description below. So now click this Compose To. There you go. We now have the date. You can see it's here. That was the date of Jane's birthday. We just need to get rid of this. And now a little bit of .NET date time format knowledge comes in handy. I placed a link here that is in additional material, .NET custom date and time format strings. You can get the format that I'm using in 2 seconds. If I click edit here, now go in here. So what we want to do is all the way to the end here. That is right after the second last parentheses, then you'll have a comma, and now we can specify the format that we want the date to be in. So again, 2 single quotation marks that just type in. Power Automate will automatically type in the second one. So I'll say 4 Ys here. Then I want this. I'm not sure what this is called because my English is not that well. So if you know what this is called, this separator, just let me know here, because I'm using it sometimes in the videos and it could be nice to know. So let me know in the comments. So this is the format that I want to use. Again, Control A, Control C, because when I update here, I want to see, you can see it disappeared. So the solution here for now, when it disappeared, is that move this, go to expression, and I can paste it in, and now I have it. Let's try with another run. Test it manually. Like this. Now we can move an ID. Let's pick another one this time. Just pick him here. Or her, I can not really see. I think it is a him. So now it runs. And if this works, we now have the data that we needed. We can do a comparison and do our KYC check. So what we did here, there's really no magic to it. You don't need coding skills. You just need to know a little bit about the logic here in Power Automate. Then you can easily solve this by yourself. So now my flow ran, or at least this one here. Then I go to Compose 2. There you go. We now have our date, so we can compare it with this date here in Excel. That's right. Well, now we can do a condition. So let me just click Edit here, and we will delete these two Compose in a little while. I just need this expression here. So what I'll do here, now I need to compare. I just need to say the information that I extracted up here from the AI builder, I'll compare that with the Excel, and if things matches, then I will update this validated here with a yes. If things don't matches, I will have a no. And I will also move. So here I move these files over here, but then I need to move them from this one to invalid IDs or processed IDs. So fairly easy. So first we'll take a condition and just search for it or find it here. Now I misspelled it. Here it is, condition. So what do I need to compare? I need an AND condition because both the first name, the last name, and the date of birth needs to match exactly. Otherwise we cannot validate our customer. Go to the left, I'll have my Excel expression. The first one is easy. That is just the first name. That I'll fill in these values from the AI builder, that is from the ideas, in a little while. So what I want to do here is that I'll just want to add a row. Here we'll have the last name. I'll add another row. Here, let me do this. And here I'll have my expression from this Compose 2. So go in here, find this expression, and go down here. You cannot paste it in here. You need to create an expression here, like this, and click OK. Over here, we will have our AI builder values. Scroll a little bit down. First name. On the last name here. And this one was the date of birth. You can, of course, also compare to other type of things on your idea. But this one will do for now. Let me just be sure that I actually wrote it in with no spaces. It seems right. So this one says, if the first name is equal to the first name in the ID, is the last name from Excel is equal to the last name from the AI builder, and the date of birth from the Excel sheet is equal to the date of birth from the ID, then we will go over here. If one of these are not correct, then we'll go into the no branch. So let's fix that. First, we will just update this row here. So what I will do here is that I'll go down to add an action in the yes branch. Then I'll find update a row. Here, I'll pick the Excel Online for Business again, as that is the Excel version I got. Again, I just need to find the location. So you can see here, I just need to pick the correct things from all these drop downs. Of course, we wrote two expressions, but that's really not a thing. Now I just need to say, where do I have my Excel sheet? We have it here in the KYC Demo. That is the customers here. XLSX. The table is called customers. The key column, well, that will be the customer ID. And since we now have the key value, we can just take the one from Excel from the get a row because we know we have the right customer ID. So that one is fine. Then we just want to update the validated column. That is down here. I'll say yes. Let's also rename this activity so we can see what's going on because we'll have an updated row over here. I don't really like to rename this updated row, so I just add things after it because then I can easily see what kind of activity it is. Here I'll say validated. Since we're going to use almost the same over here, I will click enter, and I'll click these 3 dots, copy to my clipboard, then go to add an action, go in my clipboard. Now you have this one here. So pick it over here, and it collapses, but that's okay. You will have it over here. First, let's rename it, because this is the not validated branch. Not validated, like this, enter. Then we will click to open it like this. The only thing that we want to change, that is, we will have this no in here. So now we have updated the row. We also want to move the file from, let me show you, from this IDs to check. We'll have 10 files in a little while. We want to move them accordingly to either the invalid IDs, that is if we're in a no branch, or the processed IDs, that is if we're over here. So we will just do that. You can try to run it if you will see this works. But for now, I will just proceed and we will do the test in the end. So what I want to do here is that I will click add an action. Then I'll have to move or rename a file like this. And I will take this one here, move or rename a file, OneDrive for Business. We will need a file. So, and here, go in here. That is the unique identifier of the file. And let me just move a little bit down. Here you need to get the trigger because we actually got the file. We'll have that up here from the trigger. So we will use the identifier from that. Move all the way from the button. That is this file identifier. So click that one here. The destination file path, including the target file name. So that one, we know how we get the target file name because we got it up here from the first compose. That is why we haven't deleted them yet. So let's go find it down here. So what I will do here is that I'll first create a dynamic path. That is the KYC Demo processed idea. And then the target file name I will get from the expression. So I go down here. And since we have it in the root of our OneDrive, that is this, I will write it KYC Demo, then / Invalid IDs. So what you will see here is that I'll have the /, then I'll have the KYC Demo like this, and I will move them to the processed IDs, and then a /. Then I just need to get the file name. And here we want the expression, but now we need the extension. So let me go up here to this compose. If I move in here, because now I just don't need to split it. So I will need the extension. So what I will do here is that I will, well, sometimes it's quite difficult to edit it in here. So mark everything, copy it, and then let's just do the notepad trick like this and have it here. Because what we need to have is this one. If you can't get it from here, that's fine. I just need this. So the trigger outputs headers XMSLs XMS file name. So we will use this here because we have written in this hard-coded. Then we want the expression and we put that in here and we'll click OK. So now we have the hard-coded and then we'll have the file name from up here when a file is created. That is from the trigger outputs. You'll see headers MX file name. I'll also say yes, override it. Well, that is just a decision you need to take. So here I'll click the 3 dots, then I'll say rename, and here I'll just say validated like this. Now I will copy this one over here. So we will have the exact same thing, except we will just have it to the invalid IDs. So just copy to my clipboard and go over here, add an action, my clipboard, and take this one here. First, let's rename it. So I'll do this. Delete the 2 and then I'll say not validated. It's best practice to rename your activities. And then what we need to do is just, instead of the processed IDs, let me just show you here, we need the invalid IDs. So we will be doing invalid IDs like this. Click save. We're done. We have created our flow. So let me just collapse this and let's go try it. So here, our 2 folders. Here we have our sample documents from the C drive. and we have the IDs to check. So let's delete it. Now let's have a test. This will actually, it will run, but it's just more easy to see when it runs when we click this test. But when we have saved it and we have this trigger, this will actually, we don't need to test it to activate it. It is activated. But now we can just see it here run in the background. So let's just copy these 10 files over here, and this will trigger our flow, and we will update our Excel sheet, and we will move our files. So you can see in the background where you see it work now, add a file to the OneDrive folder you selected. That one will run. Now your flow is running, and we will probably have to wait 15 seconds. You will need to hear me talk. So if you want more of these, remember to subscribe to the channel, then you will never miss an update about upcoming Power Automate videos where you can learn a lot. So now my flow ran successfully, but this is actually only for one of them. If we go to our log, you can see here that we have our flow ran like a lot of times here, and that is because we have 10 files. So if I go to my Excel sheet, you can see that we have updated the validated column indeed. This one is not validated, that is June Maria sample. You can go see why that is not updated if we inspect that ID, and similarly the mark sample. So, and one thing we also need to see is our IDs moved? We don't have any files in the IDs to check. If I go into invalid IDs, we have 2 here. And if I go to processed IDs, I have the rest. Congrats, you build your KYC flow with AI in Power Automate. That's quite an accomplishment. If you want to see the session with the Microsoft Product Manager from AI Builder, just click the video here on the screen.